Hi everyone, Becca here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing my progress on Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 3, which is called Down the Garden Path. And you can see what everyone is doing on YouTube under Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 3. And so I thought I would begin before I show you my vegetable garden. I thought I would show you what I've done so far, adding to my little roll here. So the first thing I did was I outlined the teapot. I got that outlined so that the teapot would show up just a little bit more. And also I stitched in some of the cracks here just to make it look like this was a discarded teapot that went out in the garden somewhere and a little mouse found a home in it. And I also added some shutters to the windows. I did the stitching around the windows and the door. Forgot to add a doorknob, I'm just noticing. And the shutters were part of this lace, which was a piece. I took this piece from a larger piece of lace, and I just wanted to use this little edging here. And I just thought that that would be nice for shutters. It did really fray a lot. I had to really stitch around the edges of that to keep it from fraying so much. And I added a little bird on top of the teapot here. This little bird landed on there, and I thought that sort of, went with the garden, everything that's in the garden. And let's see, I also added this chubby little bluebird. He landed on this vegetation here, and so I thought that that was really cute. He's kind of looking what this little mouse is up to. And let's see, I did some little ribbon. This is, I think, a 4mm silk ribbon, and I did a little bit of couching of that down on along the other side of the path here. And let me just move this out of the way here. And let's see, what else did I add? So I added some in the darker green and some in the lighter green as well. And I added also this little pot of flowers on this garden wall, and I just stitched in some messy French knots on here to look like maybe roses and some other type of flower on here, some blue flower. Again, couched a little bit more of this ribbon, this silk ribbon, and in a darker green. This is the darker, and then I went to a lighter, a little patch of greenery here, and a little bit of the lighter up here. And let's see, what else did I do? Pot of flowers. And before you get to the garden here, I added a little tub just outside this path, where this path branches off. I added this tub of veggies, and I put in some, I think these are radishes. Usually the radishes that I see are round, but these I think are radishes. And some pears also here. So there's some pears in this little tub. So she's definitely setting up a little store house for all of her vegetables and fruits that are coming out of her gardens. And I finished my garden. So here it is. And so you were coming along this path, and then you go down another path, and here is the garden. And in the garden are some tomato plants and some carrots. And I left just a little bit of orange at the base of the carrots so that you could tell that that's what this greenery is for, the carrots. And I put some cabbages in, some green cabbages and some cauliflower and these are supposed to be strawberries. And I'll just show you a little bit of a close-up there of these. I don't know if you can see the carrots. And I finished my little scarecrow. That's Peter Rabbit's jacket on there. And the way that I did that was just to use one strand of DMC embroidery floss, and I used an outline stitch on that, and just very close together, not a satin stitch but an outline stitch on these, and then little tiny French knots for the buttons and little black lines for the buttonholes. And I just went out around the outline a tiny bit to sort of delineate it. I stitched the posts for the garden with 2 strands of 2 different colors thread, so there's 2 strands all together, and one was a brown and one was a gray. I wanted it to look sort of like a weathered fence along the garden. And I also added a little shovel in here, so that she's been digging in the garden. And I added also some greenery around the edge of the garden. There is some taller grasses, maybe some ornamental grasses or something. And then there's a little, I'm not sure what this is, if this is like a little hedgehog or what. A little, I don't think it's a mole, but maybe a little hedgehog near her garden, and it looks like he's grabbed a couple of strawberries here. And then just some more leaves here at the edge of the garden. Also on this path, I did some ribbon greenery, and I forgot what this stitch is called, but it's just where you come up and then lay your ribbon down and just pierce the ribbon. And I just did a little bit here so that there weren't those harsh edges of the path. And then I did some more ribbon stitches here with the darker green and the lighter green ribbon. And again, the same kind of stitch, just kind of giving an idea of some vegetables here or some more greenery. And I added some red beads, and I have no idea what these might be. These could be anything. They could be some kind of a vegetable or a fruit, or I don't know, but in this little make-believe world, I guess it doesn't really matter. So I thought that would add some color. I did some more wildflowers along this path, coming along. The rest of the path is still undone. Of course, we don't know what prompts we'll get, but this is, so far, this is what I've got for this path. And I think my perspective is off here. My angle of the flowers is a little bit off. Tried to make them smaller as they got further away. But so hopefully that looks like they're kind of going off in the distance. And again, some greenery up here with ribbon, and then some stitches with embroidery floss, just some straight stitches to indicate some grasses, and I may put a few flowers in up there as well. The cauliflower, I thought I would show, how I did the cauliflower. I wasn't quite sure how to accomplish them, but I just decided to try something, and it seemed to work. I'll try to show how I did this quickly if I can. And I just came up with some stitches, and almost as if you're doing a rose, I came up and staggered the stitches, kind of almost a triangle in the center. And then I would just come up and overlapping the stitches, going in the middle of one, the last one, kind of in the middle, and then overlapping, going down to the next. And if you leave the stitches a little bit loose, a little bit standing up, it's a little more dimensional. And again, I just come up kind of in the middle of that one, overlapping, coming around, sort of in a circular motion, and these are just straight stitches really, leaving that little kind of a loop in a sense. And each time taking a bite and sort of leaving a little loop coming up in the middle of that one, the middle, or maybe even towards the edge. This felt is very dense to stitch through. Got a little piece of string there. And again, leaving those stitches kind of standing up a little bit, but it was just so simple. It's just an easy thing to do. Just keep going around in a circle. Get that little string off there. And you can sort of puff it up a little bit. It's really very meditative because it's just easy. You don't really have to do too much thinking. And just keep coming around until you get it to a size that you like or that fits your garden. I'll just finish this round going around here. And once you're happy with the size, I'll do one more little stitch here. And once you're happy with the size, then I just came in right in the center and did a French knot. I did a messy French knot, and this is a very chunky thread, so I'll just do 2 wraps and leave it kind of loose. You can kind of gauge how you'd like it, how loose or how tight, and then just come down. And that's how I did my cauliflower in an ivory stitch. And it was just easy. It's kind of raised like cauliflower are. So I did the ivory, and then I did the same type of stitch around this with a green for the leaves on the cauliflower. And for the cabbages, I just left the cabbages green. So I just thought I'd share that. It's a very simple, simple method to use to achieve those. I'll try to get close for you. Let's see. You can see how the cauliflower really look, I think, like cauliflower and the cabbages. And then for these little flowers here, I just took some fabric that I had. It's a batik, and it has all different shades on it. Pretty. I just snipped out a few pieces of it. I'll put some more of these flowers in, but I just cut some little tiny circles. You can see the size of the circle there. Little tiny circles, and put those for some wildflowers here, and just did a little French knot in the center. So I think that's everything, and I know the new prompt is a garden shed or a greenhouse, and I was thinking of that I would maybe do a little teacup on its side, being that there's a teapot, and I was thinking maybe that could be her little garden shed. I think I drew a sketch. Just a second. I drew a little sketch, trying to make it look like a teacup on its side. So that is kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if I can pull that off or not in fabric and stitches, but that, and I was thinking I might put her little garden shed up here, and I have a little, just sketched in quickly, a little rake, a little garden rake here, and maybe there'll be some other little tools there, but I just put in a couple of pots and a longer pot with some flowers. Again, this is just sort of an idea. If not, I'm going to go with just a regular sort of a weathered wood little building that looks like a shed. Maybe it's an abandoned birdhouse or something like that. But so far, that's where I am on my garden path, and I'll just do a close-up again for you. That her little garden is, I think, pretty much done. The pot of flowers and her little basin with veggies, and the little bird. I love the little birds and things that you can find on fabrics. They're so cute, and these sizes were just perfect. There's the shutters. So that is my down the garden path so far. It's coming along in my garden. And next, I think the little shed is going here, or maybe here, or maybe here. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have this much left for the other, how many prompts? About 8 prompts. This may get longer. I have a feeling it's going to get longer, but so far that's where it stands. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm getting this in. So thank you very much for joining me today, for coming along on my journey down the garden path. And again, if you'd like to check out other people's, it's on YouTube and Facebook under Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Down the Garden Path. So thank you very much for stopping by and for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.